Anyway, as I was saying, I don't feel bad. My mom went to go to the bathroom. She's not getting ready for bed yet, though. It's still kind of early. She asked if I saw the mouse. No, it didn't go after the food. We decided together, me and my mom, we made an executive decision together, a mutual executive decision that we don't want this mouse venturing in. Why did it dare go in the living room anyway when we're in there? Omar's in there. It must be hungry. It gets more brazen apparently when it's hungry. I just wanted to just stay confined to the kitchen. That's where you're gonna find crumbs and stuff, not in the living room. But then again, Lord only knows what's, the couches aren't that clean, what's down in the couches, and I've never had problems with bugs, though. I've never had a problem with a mouse either, or mice, or rodent, any type of thing, Despite not being the cleanest people in the world. Miss Sabrina, who is not a kid, she's young but not a kid, has the brilliant idea, she feels bad for this stray large dog. They call it a bulldog. You know how that goes. It can be a mix, alright? Or they just don't want to say what it really is. I don't know. I'm sorry for people who love pit bulls, but we all know that you hear horror stories more about pit bulls than about any other kind of breed of dog, okay? Let's just leave it at that. Including in New England a couple of years ago, oh no, that wasn't, might have had pit bull in it. That was a pet, though. They've had for a year. Mauled that little girl, like 1-year-old girl. Happened somewhere in New England, I forget where. It wasn't Massachusetts, I don't think. Anyway, mauled the little girl, and the dad had to he had to stab the dog to death to get the dog off his little girl. Luckily he was home, but he caught it in time. She was severely critically injured. Set up a GoFundMe page. Now, I don't care what kind of animal lover you are. Seriously, you all have to agree with me. This woman is stupid. There's a GoFundMe page up for her now because she has $200,000 in medical bills. She, in her wisdom, decided to take into her home again. She shares with other living beings. She lives there with her father, I believe, because when the attack happened, said he was out mowing the lawn. She lives there with other animals, 2 little dogs like Omar, a Pekingese, and a little other kind of dog, and has birds and had a cat. I'm being vicious now, and I don't even think anyone should. I'm sure she will. I'm sure she'll get tons and tons of money, even though it was her own stupidity. And okay, so bad enough she has I just don't understand people. But Joe tells me, and other people, just with all the pesticides and GMOs and fluoride and everything else, people are just brain dead. She decides in her wisdom to take this stray dog, which, number one, you don't do that anyway, because it's friendly, into her home where she shares with other living beings, other pets she loves, and her dad. That's her first mistake. But then, the dog kills her cat. Kills her cat. Maybe she didn't care much about the cat because she kills her cat. Again, she has little dogs like Omar, little Pekingese, little whatever. Kills her cat. Kills her cat. And she still doesn't kick the dog out. Stupidity like this doesn't deserve a penny for GoFundMe, sorry. So, dog kills her cat. She doesn't kick the dog out. 2 days later, the dog goes after her little dogs and then after her. And in the end, she could have died. But you got the warning signal and killed your cat and you still let him stay. this kind of stupidity bothers me. Because I really wonder, like, how prevalent it is in other areas, okay? This stray dog kills your cat and you don't kick the dog out. You keep the dog there, and then 2 days later, it said on Inside Edition, it's not like 2 hours later, unless Inside Edition made a mistake. The dog killed her cat. She has other pets, and herself, and she lives with it, and 2 days later attacks her dogs, but the dogs were okay, and probably because she got it away from the dogs, I don't know, it doesn't elaborate, but, and then goes after her, and in the end took a huge chunk out of her leg, arm. She had to run away. She had to this claw marks outside the bathroom. She had to barricade herself in the bathroom and go out the window to get away. And they said she cried. She was upset when she heard the dog was put down. Well, he's generally a good dog. That's what she said. That's someone who deserves everything they get, you know. I mean, I'm sorry, but you don't bring a stray dog into your home. Especially when it's a big dog that can kill. Right? Sorry to be so blunt, but a little dog is less likely to be able to kill you or less likely to even try. Alright? This is a big dog. I think they call it a bulldog to be diplomatic, but I've heard before that people will falsely call something a bulldog when it's really a bulldog pit bull mix, okay? She was so nice to this dog, and the dog was so friendly, apparently slobbering all over him, blah, 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 but obviously he has issues, and when he killed your cat, that should have been it. Kick him out. No. And she was up. In the end, she nearly died. And even if she didn't die, all her other pets could have been ripped to pieces in front of her, like the cat. How did you let that dog stay when it killed your cat? Did you just chalk it up? This is someone who's too much of an animal lover, you know what I mean? You chalked it up, well, that's his instincts, not his fault, he didn't know any better. Kills her cat and she lets him stay. God, would she do the same thing for a person? Takes in a stray person who doesn't kill anybody, but maybe, isn't very nice to your kid or something. Let's just be diplomatic here. I won't spell it out, but whatever. But you feel bad for him, so you're going to let him stay. You killed your cat, this dog. Anyway, if you want to give money to her name's Sabrina. All you have to do is Good Samaritan gets mauled by dog, bulldog she lets in her home. There's a GoFundMe. She has $200,000 in medical bills. She's lucky she's not worse off. She's lucky she's alive. She's lucky her little dogs weren't mauled to death. Stupid. Alright, let's go to another stupid thing. This was on World News Tonight. We all know these friggin' 737 Boeing jets have been grounded across the world for a very valid reason. Okay? Two fatal, where everyone aboard perished, crashes took place 5 months apart in other countries. Okay? The reason was the Ethiopian one and the other one, okay? So we were the last to do it in the United States, but there's too many similarities. Now they've grounded these planes. So, at an airport, and Lord only knows, you don't know that they decided on their own. They were probably ordered to do it. It says, they don't tell the truth. It said on Inside Edition, the pilots decided. But it was the decision of the pilot's boss. All the other Boeing 737s are in this one spot. So even though this plane has been grounded, and let's not make no mistake, a plane that goes down or something, if it's been grounded for a reason. Leave it wherever the fuck it is. Like shelter in place, shelter that airplane in place. No. They're going to ignore, they're going to blah, 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 and they decided to fly it to where all its other brothers and sisters were grounded. It's that the pilots, no people on board, of course, but the pilots. And a different thing happened that's separate from that thing going up, whatever they think's going on, the safety features and whatnot. And these are brand new fucking jets, and all this crap's happening. That is so suspicious to me. But if you are told to ground the airplane, ground the fucking airplane. Don't risk anyone's life, even if it's just pilots and not civilians. And guess what? Right after takeoff, engine trouble. They had to turn around. They were fine. But again, these are brand new planes. We have the 2 crashes 5 months apart that have, because safety features were not installed, or airports had to buy those safety features and they weren't whatever. But now this is something different happening. Can you imagine if we got to hear, the American public, that these pilots decided, but we know they didn't decide on their own. Their bosses told them to do it. Oh, there's no big deal. It's not going to happen again. It's blah, blah, blah. We know that now it's the safety features and we know what to watch out for. Well, this was something different that happened right after takeoff, just like the other crashes happened a few minutes, 6 minutes after takeoff, okay? And the headline on World News Tonight is, well, why was it up in the air in the first place? But anyway, they had to turn around, and luckily they were okay. Luckily, fortunately, nothing bad happened. If you're told to ground the airplanes, don't go and fly them. There should be a penalty. Just even though it's pilots, so what? Pilots, why should the pilots have to die and their families have to deal with that because you decide to fly this airplane that has been grounded for a reason? Again, this is something completely different that wasn't so far that we know anyway. We don't know everything that happened in the Ethiopian crash, but something to engine trouble. But these are brand new jets. So that's stupidity. Those 2 things I had to talk about. And then, of course, the Jussie Smollett thing is blowing everyone's mind. There's no doubt in my mind he's guilty. But he's maintaining his innocence, and the chief of police is pissed, the mayor is pissed. They're like, whitewash of justice, blah, 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 whatever. They dropped all charges. Is that because he's Jussie Smollett, or, as they claim, because he has no prior record? But there are people, sorry to be so blunt, who have no prior record and go out and commit horrible crimes, I don't know. I'm waiting for all charges to be dropped, or at least they won't serve. I'm waiting for these college scandals, these famous people and rich people, to not have to serve any jail time. Thus proving yet again that the elite on this planet have privileges. Why did the prosecutors suddenly decide to drop all this? But they did say it's not because they believe he's innocent. But it doesn't matter. It's all going to be sealed up, and, I'm sitting there talking and I don't even know if it's running. And that really pisses me off when that happens. Alright, it is still running. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you guys have any theories? They say, but all charges were dropped. The prosecutors were going after him, 100% felt like they had a case. The mayor and the chief of police say we had a strong case. They're disgusted. They're calling it a whitewash of justice. Justice was not served, blah, 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 whatever. And he gets to go on his merry way like nothing ever happened. He maintains his innocence, and that's it. And the prosecutors on there, we didn't drop this because we believe he's innocent. We dropped it because he has no prior felony charges or whatever. I don't understand it. And they're like, it wasn't a deal. It was and they don't get to know. They were blindsided. The mayor and the chief of police are pissed as all hell. They were blindsided. And I want wonder if conspiracy theories are going to arise where, why the hell was this in the headlines for so long, and now suddenly it's just all dropped like it never happened. He did community service, and that's it. It's not, it's going to be expunged from his record. It's unreal. Whatever. Does that bother me? No, I don't give a shit. What Barbra Streisand said, though, bothers me. It pisses me off. It disgusts me. Because she more or less regurgitated in a different whatever. She what Joe and others that he studies, whatever, predicted would happen at some point, where that will become acceptable, like it's considered, it's not their fault, it's a sexual preference. She says it in a London thing, and then receives, of course, understandably, tons of backlash, and then she backtracks. We know damn well she wouldn't have said something like that unless that's how she felt. Come on. Diana Ross didn't just said, we need to love each other and say whatever, but it's okay to believe Michael Jackson's innocent. That's not what Barbra Streisand did. She basically said, who cares if he's guilty? It didn't really negatively affect these people that much. They still grew up and had kids and families, and they enjoyed themselves with him, and if it's in his DNA and then it's not his base, oh my God. I told Joe that. I don't get into this shit out here. I don't want to. If I told Joe that, he's going to say, I told you so, Laura. Yeah. It's like, that was just a slip of the tongue. Yeah. No, it wasn't, bitch. No, it wasn't. I've never heard it being that in your face, though, from a so-called star. Again, I don't condemn anyone if they believe Michael Jackson's innocent. But I'm sick and disgusted by what Barbra Streisand allegedly said. Okay? But I'm sure Inside Edition's not going to say she said it. She gave it to her verbatim, and I'm sure we can Google it. I don't want to. I don't even want to go there because unreal. After this Jesse Smollett thing, because again, why were the charges dropped? Because he has no prior, supposedly, that's why they were dropped, supposedly. But people on Inside Edition, they were saying, never heard anything like this happening. And the reason the mayor and the police chief in that, state, that city, whatever, are so disgusted, because he's maintaining his innocence, and there's so much evidence against him. Apparently the federal supposedly is still, investigating the letter that, whether or not he sent that to himself, but this was a big deal. I don't know, it's very suspicious that it's just dropped like that. But like the mayor is saying, and the mayor is black like Jesse Smollett, like no accountability. I'm sorry, not the mayor, the police chief. No accountability. He maintains his innocence. He's going to say he's innocent. It's a situation where I don't think a lot of people believe him. Even the prosecutors are saying, we didn't drop the charges because we believe he's innocent. We did it because he has no prior felony record. But I'm wondering if it has anything to do with him being one of the elite, on this planet. I don't know. But I don't care. Do I know? I'm sure a lot of people do, though. The police chief and the mayor definitely care, and they didn't mince words. Whitewash of justice, and justice was not served. I mean, I didn't think it should ruin his life, but to be completely exonerated, it's like it never happened. Like, none of it happened. It's going to be expunged from his record, and that's it. And he maintains his innocence, so his life's going to go on as normal, and no accountability. Like the mayor said, no accountability. Morally and ethically, what you did is repugnant, and no accountability. So, whatever. Justice system's a joke in our country anyway, for the most part. I find these things interesting because we're all waiting with bated breath to see if these elite movie stars, if they get punished at all for what they did. And it won't surprise me if they don't. Because they have no priors. Same with Jesse Smollett, no priors, so you're not punished at all, even though the mayor and police chief say there was abundance of evidence against you. The prosecutors have blindsided them, dropping it suddenly, and won't say why, and they're just doing it, and that's it. And suspicious. I wonder if, like I said, I wonder if conspiracy theories are developing about that. And I'm wondering if the same thing's going to happen with the college admissions scandal. Where the same rules don't apply to we average Joes versus the elite on this planet. The same rules don't apply. Do I care? Not really. No point in caring. Like Red Sunrise and Clarity. Who cares that life's unfair, and who singing la da da. They wait and see how it works itself out. Anyway, I didn't want to age restrict this, so no skin. Gave you guys some skin earlier. A little bit. Of course, even though the Mueller, they're not going to, I told my mom, they're not going to leave Trump alone. They're not. The Mueller report that was 22 months, virtually exonerated him, and the people who hate him are not going to leave him alone. They're still going to hound him over everything under the sun for the next 2 years. Surprise, surprise. Even Meghan McCain, who definitely can't stand him, she's like, I can't stand the man, all right? She can't stand him, but that doesn't mean he's a Russian spy. Yeah, no shit. They're not going to arrest the Democrats. Whatever, right, Holmes? Another thing I was wondering, because of the, now I don't know his name. one where the cop was just acquitted of all, he was found not guilty or whatever. He shot the guy 3. I'm wondering about this too. If cops can always just say, oh, I thought I saw a gun. I mean, I would think cops can get away with anything if they could just use that, I thought I saw a gun. Because a lot of times they think they saw a gun and they use deadly force and the person was unarmed. Like that one recently he got out of a car that was suspected of being in a drive-by shooting or whatever, but he was unarmed. And he was shot 3 times in the back. And of course people are rioting and they're up in arms. And even the defense lawyer was targeted. Someone shot into his office. I know that happens all the time where police can just say, I thought I saw a gun. But I'm just wondering, then can't they use that excuse always? It's just they're just taking your word for it. I thought I saw a gun, so I shot him 3 times in the back, and I'm going to be found not, be acquitted of all charges. That's kind of shit I think about, because I'm just like, that means the police can anytime just say, I thought I saw a gun. Because it happens. But he was running away and he shot in the back. I don't know. It depends on the prosecutor, depends on the state or city, because one city or state or whatever the cop might be found guilty and be prosecuted another time. Nope. Of course, we don't know all the details. All I'm saying, and it was a white cop shooting him, but black. He was only 17. But all I'm saying is, if that's how you can get off in shooting somebody 3 times in the back who's running away from you, and like his lawyer said, he posed no danger to the cop or the community. And if a cop can always just say, I thought I saw a gun, and I mean, how will justice ever be served if that cop can use that excuse anytime I thought I saw a gun? This female cop, 2 months on the force, rookie, it was a guy was stopped for seatbelt, and he was mad, and he's like, you're stopping me for a effing seatbelt, but in the end he's going to be charged. But he also he got in an altercation with the officer, because the officer's like, you're going to be arrested over, he wouldn't get out of the car, you're going to be arrested over seatbelt. But the female rookie mistook her taser for a gun, and I believe that can definitely happen with a rookie. But now she worked so hard to be on the police force and whatever, and now she's going to be charged felony charges. It's a mistake, but it's a mistake that could have ended in this guy's death. She shot him point blank, thinking she was going to tase him. Cops have to know the difference between a taser and their gun. I'm sorry, I'm not saying she did it on purpose, but she could have killed him. This was point blank.